everybody, welcome to Wild Boy Movies, the place to talk movies, and today we're going to be reviewing Ironheart, the latest MCU Disney Plus series. Right now I'm going to have some information up on screen for you to read, like network, how many episodes there are, rating, all of that will be up on screen for you to read right now. But be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on Ironheart. But without further ado, let's get right into the pros. Alright, starting off, I gotta go ahead and praise the acting from Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri Williams, aka Ironheart in the series. You might remember her from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, where she was actually introduced into the MCU from that movie. And this is following the events of Wakanda Forever and her involvement with Wakanda vs. Talokan. But yeah, I did think that her acting performance from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which I did enjoy from there, carried over into her own Disney Plus series. I thought Dominique Thorne did a good job as the character of Riri Williams, and is a character that I'm hoping that we get to see again in the MCU, whether that be in the next Avengers movies or the Young Avengers, which I'm hoping is the latter. Anthony Ramos' character of the Hood was also really good in here. I was really intrigued with this villain and all the things that he did in this series. I mean, he led like a crime organization that robbed rich industries, and later on in the series we find out what all he did in order to lead to this crew being assembled. And I really liked that Anthony Ramos' character in here and his portrayal of the Hood in here. I'm kind of down to see if they would bring back the Hood again, but if this is his only appearance in the MCU, I would be fine with it. But I thought the Hood in here was also a great character in here, and probably a good choice for a villain in this Ironheart series. And I also thought other cast members in this series did a pretty good job. I mean, you got some of the other criminal crewmates of Anthony Ramos, the Hood in here, who I thought were all good in their own ways. And you also have the character of Natalie, which I thought was a really interesting idea for them to have in this series, where it's Riri's dead best friend that becomes her new AI that's similar to a Jarvis or Edith or Friday. I really like that angle that they took with the character of Natalie and gave her kind of a personality that differentiated herself, Ironheart, a little bit from Tony Stark, Iron Man. I also like seeing all of the different Ironheart suits that we got in this series. We got 3 suits, an all-white suit, a suit that's kind of built from scrap metal, and then a suit that's infused with magic. And I really liked all 3 of those suits that we got in the series, and even more because they did not include nanotech at all. Now, that's kind of a big deal within the MCU, because a lot of these superheroes have nanotech in their suits. I mean, Black Panther, Captain America, Sam Wilson, and even Ant-Man and the Wasp all have nanotech in their suits. So it's kind of a refreshing thing to have a character that doesn't use nanotech in their superhero suits. I also really liked how they went ahead and told the story in the series. I thought it was pretty good. And I also did like how they went ahead and tackled the magic versus technology storyline that we all saw and heard that would be a part of the series. And I liked how they went ahead and used magic into Riri Williams' suit to really differentiate herself from Tony Stark, Iron Man, because there could be a case for some people saying that if she didn't have that magic, people would have been calling her an Iron Man replacement. Giving her magic into her iron suit really gave her a differentiation from Tony Stark, and I really like how they were able to integrate magic into her suit, especially with episode 6, where we see Riri Williams use her magic infused suit. I thought that scene was also really cool and really showed a really big difference from Tony Stark's Iron Man. And lastly, I honestly think this show is up in like the same par as something like the Miss Marvel series. Now, while I think Miss Marvel is in my top favorite of the MCU Disney Plus series, Ironheart is far from that. What I mean by that is that both Ironheart and Miss Marvel are just really fun and entertaining shows to watch. I felt that way towards this Ironheart series. It's not like amazing as something like Loki or Daredevil Born Again, but I think it's one of those shows that you could just watch to have fun, and that's how I felt towards this Ironheart series. It's something that I feel I would watch with friends or just have in front of TV while eating dinner. Like, this is just a fun and good show just to watch that does have some hints towards the future of the MCU, but really it's just like a fun show to watch in general, at least towards my opinion. So yeah, I enjoyed the series, but there are some things that I kind of didn't like with this show. So let's get into the cons. Alright, starting off, this is something that I'm kind of like mixed on, but I kind of wasn't the biggest fan of like Riri Williams joining like this criminal team led by the Hood. It's just something that I felt kind of mixed on. I kind of wish that they hadn't done that and just had Riri Williams build up to being like this hero without having joined this criminal group. But it's kind of like a mixed thing for me because I do think that it did eventually lead to that criminal group that I did enjoy, but I kind of wish that we maybe didn't did that, but it's something that I'm just fine with. That's just a nitpick. Something that isn't really a nitpick though is the way they released the series. Now, this has nothing to do with the quality of the series, but I just did not like how Marvel went ahead and handled the release of the Ironheart series. Like, dropping 3 episodes a week for 2 weeks. Like, I was perfectly fine dealing with that for Daredevil Born Again with 2 episodes, but for Ironheart with like 3 episodes, like when the series dropped, I literally watched the first episode in the morning, the second episode in the afternoon, and the third episode in the evening. For the last episodes, I just binged them. In between 4 and 5, I had breakfast, but still, I kind of did not like that Marvel just dropped all of these episodes. And especially as something like a content creator, it's kind of like frustrating. And it kind of showed that Marvel kind of did not have any faith in this Ironheart series. But lastly, I just gotta throw in the ending. Now, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I did kinda like the ending. They did tease some things where they could go with Riri Williams and Ironheart in the future, and that one character that we've all been waiting for, not gonna say who it is, but it was just finally cool to see that character. But the reason it's in the cons is because I'm worried that they're not gonna go ahead and resolve all of those loose ends. I mean, I'm still wanting to see what happens with Jake Lockley and the characters of Moon Knight because they teased Jake Lockley is out there with Khonshu, and we have not gotten anything towards the characters of Moon Knight, Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, or Jake Lockley ever since that series back in 2022, and I just don't want that same thing happening towards a character like Riri Williams and Ironheart in the way they ended this series. Like, I want to see how the story continues on, whether that be in Ironheart Season 2 or Young Avengers. I just want to see more of this story continue on and Marvel just not abandoning it. But that really is all of the cons I have with this Ironheart series. It's not top tier of the MCU Disney Plus series, but it also isn't completely garbage and awful of the Disney Plus series. To me, I find the show in the middle of the spectrum where it's just good, fun, and entertaining that, yeah, I definitely recommend if you haven't seen it, go ahead and give it a shot. So for my scorecard, I'm gonna give Ironheart 3.5 stars, with the score out of 10 being 7.5 out of 10, with the percentage being 75%, with a grade of C, with my final verdict being an enjoyable MCU Disney Plus series. But that was my review for Ironheart. I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys' thoughts on this MCU series? Go ahead and leave your thoughts down in the comment section. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. And have a great day.